All right, I've welcome back for the episode of Carnivore Trades. Today is Wednesday, December 13th, 2023. If you've not done so already, please give the video a thumbs up, like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com for swing trading alerts, analysis, and live day trading. By the way, 3 for 3 in the live day trading room today. I love Fed Day, and it was a glorious day today. So up 1.15 here on the spiders, triple Qs. Up 1% respectively. Dow Jones Industrial Average, we talked about it yesterday, and the pom-poms are out. Up 1.1, or excuse me, up 1.21, and that is a new all-time high there for the DJI as well as the DIA for those of you who follow the ETF. Russell 2000 hit target. Up 3% on the day. Actually exceeded my target there. We did take profits in the swing trading service on UWM as well. So that was up 6.35% today. Also took profits on GIS. So a pretty good day across the board here for us here and for the markets. Now, this morning I talked about 4650 being a pin until FOMC, and it was. And then I said if they want it, 4700 would be the next level. I didn't think they'd actually get there. I'm not going to sit here and pretend, but they got it. So there you are, 47 bills on the SPX, and you're coming right into this area here. The next big level, I've got it marked on the spiders, is right here, and this was the sell signal that I took in 2022. We made a ton of money on that, but that inside bar low is that failure pivot high right there, and that's right at 472 and change. We're basically there right now, so that would be kind of the next big level there. For the spiders here, but what a move. Markets are in euphoria mode, sugar high. Definitely getting blow off top type vibes here. We're up 60 handles, or 600 points on the SPX here in just over like a month and a half really. So definitely kind of getting into blow off kind of euphoria territory. That does not mean it's something that you want to fight right here. We're not even close to the seasonality. I talked about this on the CPI day. I said you're going to have fund managers chase to meet their benchmarks by the end of the year, and a lot of this is that, as well as end of year flows, money being put to work, that's forced into the market, right? It's not like people are just chasing to chase. Some people are, but some of this money, 401ks, pension funds, they're forced to buy right now. So that is something you don't want to fight right now. That said, the market is still ridiculously cranked, overbought, whatever you want to call it. If we take a look at the RSI, I don't talk about this very often, but we're at 78, so that's a year-to-date high. And we're getting close to weekly overbought. The last time we got there, we got a correction. Again, these are just little points in the road here. Again, we're not talking about any sort of sell signal right now, but just things to keep in mind. Definitely please don't chase up here if you're thinking about buying. If you're looking to go long, buy a quality setup, buy a bull flag, an inside bar, or something like that, but don't chase up at these levels, because God forbid they reverse this tomorrow. They could reverse this on high volume. In fact, we've seen that before. There's previous Fed days in the past right here. We actually had a bullish, move. And then the next day they took it right down with a gap and crap. So just be aware of that. Don't chase the market. But big move here for the spiders. Now, markets are pricing in. The Fed said today that they kind of moved the rate cut to next year. So it's like 3 rate cuts instead of 2. The market loved that. Powell also was pretty dovish for the most part, from what I could see in his press conference. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I did listen to some of it. And obviously the market likes that. The funny thing is that if the Fed's going to be cutting more rates, doing more rate cuts next year, where does that leave the economy and the stock market? Market doesn't think about that in the short term. It has a goldfish brain. But that would be something that would probably not be good moving forward. Additionally, I think the market, this is just my opinion, I think the market, and I'll go on record right now, I think yields are going to be way higher than people think next year. And I don't think that, I think it's more likely we see a raise than a cut. We'll talk about that later. I'm not trading necessarily based off of that right now. I'm not jumping in front of the freight train until I get a sell signal. And you don't want to do that, but I'm going on record saying that. And I am starting to get kind of bullish on yields, to be honest. But right now, big move here for the bulls, and just ride the wave while you can. Anyways, Q's here at the 403 handle, so only 5 points away from new all-time highs. It's going to get there, right? So it's not that far away. That doesn't mean we're going to go there tomorrow. We might even just stall out. We might even just pull back to 400 and pin there. We might chop around in this area again. SPX could chop around in this range to year end. There's nothing to say we can't do that either. But right now, obviously, we're poised to make it a new all-time high there for the Qs. There's a little bit of a level here at 402 and change. I talked about that yesterday. We pierced it today, and we're just pulling back off the highs a little bit. Again, it's not like a sell signal or anything, but it's just a point in the road to keep note of, right? So, but Q's, big day there. Apple, by the way, they're going to get Apple to all-time highs. They got to do that. And that is not that far away as well. IWM here, we've talked about that briefly earlier. Look at this candle here. So again, nice consolidation pattern. We talked about that. Big pop, another consolidation pattern, and another big pop on volume. So I'm going to say this probably can go a little bit higher just based on the volume. Maybe even up to 198. It certainly can't be ruled out at this point. But again, we had a good gain on it, so I did exit that today. But Russell 2000 big bid. We'll just say 195 here. In the short run, DIA doesn't have a level because it's at an all-time high. Just be aware this is parabolic and, into double top. Yeah, like you'll never catch me buying a chart like this. So just be aware of that. But, the Dow's just chugging along here and at all-time high. So you got to respect that as well. Semiconductors here, another all-time high. Up 1%, pulling off the highs here. Nothing great. Nothing great. Nothing really one way or the other here. Again, I don't have a level for it. The best I could do is really go off the SOX, which is up 1 1/3 today, and just say, we hit this pivot here from the 13th of January, right around that 4,000 whole round number. And then again, you could just say double top there. So I would use, if you follow the semis, I would follow the SOX for a proxy as far as the next level that this could go to, because it's at an all-time high. So we don't know where resistance is. So I would use the SOX as a proxy if you need to. IGV continuing higher. Again, I still think it's a little rich right here. But again, it's acting well. So I'll just say 407, there's your pivot there. 407 to 410 would be your next level. I would say probabilities dictate this isn't going to go much higher here just based on this setup. But again, we are in euphoria and squeeze mode, and sometimes they can go higher than you think. But technically, that should be resistance there for the IGV. But it is holding up well. Again, I'm not fighting it. I'm not telling you to fight it. Just giving you the levels. Dow Transport's up 1 1/4. Nice pop there. Still has some resistance here at 15.6, but you have consolidated. And what I like about what this did today, take a look at the intraday. Look at, talk about shaking the tree, getting people out, and then recovering all the way back up here. If we can get through 15.6, we'll just say 16. There's your pivot high at 15.961, and then the 16 whole round number there. This inverse head and shoulder is valid, and it is pointing to, I'm just going to go to a weekly. There you go. It's pointing to just above double top. So we'll just say 17K. That would be really lofty, but it can get there. So we'll just leave it at that. All right. Let's get over here to interest rates. If I can find my chart. There we go. So 2-year backing. There's the 10. 2-year backing off here, so 4.45 area. 4.25 is going to be a major level for the 2-year. So we're just going to watch that right now. It had, got above that red bar, and then we started to roll over here. So again, it wasn't able to get back to 480, but 4.25 is going to be a big level for that, and it's not that far away. It can get there pretty quickly. 5-year coming into just a pierce of 4%. I'm just going to say 370 for the 5-year. Here in the medium term. 10-year and 30 are into the 200-day moving average. And I don't think they've really consolidated enough. There's the closing bell, by the way. I don't think they've consolidated enough to get through it right now. Maybe they have. Maybe they could go a little bit lower here. You are through this trend line. Now, I want to talk about this. So if you're new, you may not have seen this, but that's the trend line on the actual yield. But if you look at a TLT, this trend line here is a little different, right? And the same thing with the ZB, which is on the futures. This is kind of where I'm thinking it wants to go. So I think we could probably see maybe a little bit more downside in the yield, maybe a little bit more of a pierce of the 200. And this is kind of where I would expect ZB and TLT to stall out. It's not that far away. Heck, it could get there tomorrow pretty easily. So that's kind of what I'm looking for there on yields. And I think yields are getting attractive, very attractive. And like I said, I'm going on record right here. I don't think rates are anywhere near where the market thinks they're going to be today in like a month or two. So we'll see if I'm right about that, but that's the level I'm watching there on the ZB. TLT, we'll just say 97.50 to 98, maybe a pierce. I mean, it could go, overshoot a little bit. ZN, again, you can see the same thing there. That's a 10-year note. There you go. So pretty obvious. XHB, new all-time high, of course. Why wouldn't XHB make new all-time highs every day? Up 2.53%. Look at how much it was down earlier. Again, like the transports, a little bit of a shaking of the tree and then just a parabolic move. So home builders, again, liking the move in rates. VNQ, bull pattern, played out. So I know everybody's looking at commercial real estate here, but to fail, and it might, but I think a lot of those puts are kind of decaying right now because it's taking longer than people expect. So we're into this little double top pivot. What can you say? VNQ reclaiming trend here on the daily. Still got a lot of work to do on the weekly. Still got, I'll give it the upside bias to just say 89 to 90 right now on the weekly. There's your 100 and 200 moving average. And monthly, it's still pretty neutral, but nice reclaiming of trend there on the daily for the VNQ. XLF here through all these pivots again. So through the 37 level we talked about yesterday. Can this continue higher? Yes. Will it? I'm not sure. It might, sometimes you pierce these levels, you close above it, and then you pull back. That could happen. All I'll say is the next level is $38. So if it continues higher, that's where it's going to go. This is parabolic too. Just be aware of that. KRE got through $50. I don't see anything saying that this can't get back to like 55 right now. So I'll say that much here. Yeah, really on the weekly. I mean, because you sliced this without doing any support here, or without building resistance. There's your pivot lows. Where does that coincide with? 200 and 100 week moving average. Can get there. KBE, that got through 44, and it's at the 45 now. Now, again, it is piercing the 100 and 200 on the weekly. It may need to pull back. That doesn't mean it'll happen tomorrow. It's a weekly pattern. But again, the KBE is very strong here. Don't try to fight these. Broker dealers, new all-time high. Again, that exceeded the Head and Shoulders target now. Where's resistance? We don't really know. Maybe we could take a trend line here. Heck, you could even say this previous rising wedge could be some, but maybe something like that. We're kind of into this little level right now. I don't really trust upsloping trend lines like that, but you never know. You could get a little pullback off of there for sure. But again, XBD acting well, and that's a new all-time high. Anyways, crude here. I do like crude. Full disclosure, I own crude as of this morning. So I've been kind of giving you guys that for free. Yes, we had an inside bar here, but I don't think this is ready to break down. Starting to see some good seller exhaustion. 3 days of bear flagging isn't going to break through a 10-week base, typically, without a powerful move. So I do like crude here, at least for a bounce, 72, 74, 75. If it can get through that, yeah, then we can talk about $80. But I don't think we're quite there yet, or think we're going to quite do that. But again, I think this level's pretty good here, and I think probabilities favor a nice uptick in crude futures. XLE up 1.4%. I'm not touching this right now. I don't really care for it. But it got a bid today. Same thing with XOP. Hey, it's holding the level, right? So we got right down there. Nice little bid. I'll just say 137.50 if you can get through 135. Then OIH also getting a bid, but this still I think is setting up for a move to 280. That's where I want it. CCJ inside hammer today, so not really participating in the rally, but this has had such a run here. This can still get to $50. URNM can still get to 52 and change. Nothing has changed on that front. Nat Gas finally getting a bounce here up 1.4. And we'll see what this does going tomorrow. Very, very oversold, but that's kind of what Nat Gas tends to do. All right, dollar index here, sitting at 102.90. So we finally damaged this pattern. So we're that 106 is no longer in play. I'm going to say this probably wants to get down here. So 101.50 to 102, and I'll zoom out there. That's where you can see. That's probably where it wants to go. And it's not a coincidence, right, that TLT is like kind of in that trend line, right, is in that same vicinity, right? The one I just showed you here. We can look at ZB. So not that far away, right? They're probably going to line up with one another. So be aware of that. So that's kind of what we're looking for here on the DXY. And major hit closing at 102.90. Gold here up 2.3. So this was due for a bounce as well. Hitting the 2000 handle. I don't think this is the final low, but it is a very good bounce here for gold. And we'll see. They could probably test 2050, maybe 2070. And then we'll see from there. Silver, this was our big trade today in the trading room. It's a monster. Now, this exceeded all of my my expectations here, but this morning I actually picked this up well ahead of the FOMC. I did not think that this was going to break down here. Got some seller exhaustion signals as well as some other proprietary buy signals on it. And yeah, what can you say? This rallied from 22.75 to 24 in about 6 hours. Well, really about 1 hour. There you can see that parabolic move. Massive gain there for silver futures. I'm going to say this probably wants to test 25, and then we'll kind of evaluate it from there as well. Again, I don't think this is the final low. I think somebody really wanted it lower here for a reason, and you're getting a big bounce because you had a big sell-off. So just be aware of that. But silver got a nice bid today. Platinum also acting well. I do like platinum. I just haven't pulled the trigger on it yet. Palladium here, decent bid here, up 2.5. I think that still can get to 900. Then copper not really participating as much in the rally. It was up 1.25. You got a nice outside bid there towards the end. I'll have to see where this closes the week to get more of a bias on it. But again, it's hanging in there okay, and a lot of chop over the last week or two. All right, lastly, Bitcoin. So still hovering right around that 43 handle. We had the pullback, and then you got a nice pop. Again, trend is still up. We talked about this. There was no real technical damage. I mean, a pretty good outside move, but you stopped right at the 20 moving average. That's not bearish, right? So, you break that, well, and then you break these levels, and you can talk about it. But nice pullback and a pop. I don't see any issues with it. ETH holding the 20 moving average. Again, you retested this. Take a look here. This is just TA 101. Right, here's you could even go right back to here, right? Pivot high, boom, you retest it, and you got to bounce. So if that level breaks, then it may, be in corrective mode, but right now it's fine. I think Bitcoin can still get to 48. I'm still watching Solana. I think that wants to get to 80. Never quite got to my target. I think that can get there, maybe even 100. So again, crypto acting well, and again, participating in the rally. So, all right, lastly, let's take a look here. So 4,700, maybe a magnet even going into the end of the week. Tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. So OPEX, quarterly OPEX too. A lot of premium expiring. So don't be shocked if they just pin us here. And if we pull back, don't be shocked if we, pin to 4,650. Maybe even 4,600. I mean, there's not, like I said, there's nothing to say that this doesn't reverse here. They could have just pumped this to get everybody on board before they pull the rug. At some point, they're going to have to pull the rug, right? They can't make it too easy. They got to get people, they got to get the weekends out of the market if we're going to go up to all-time highs. But right now, there's no reason to fight it until you get a high volume reversal or, some type of sell signal. You start breaking technical levels. And again, end of year flows, don't fight those until the market, gives us a reason to. Again, they're not going to crash the market in front of Santa Claus. That doesn't mean we can't pull back a little bit, but you definitely don't want to fight it in this environment. So anyways, guys, gonna wrap it up here. You guys take care. Come find me on carnivoretrades.com. Talk to you guys all tomorrow.